Let's take a look at a snippet of a Touhou story, Curiosities of Lotus Asia. Written by Zune, these chapters are canon and take place alongside the main games. In Chapter 32, Sumireko berates Rinanosuke for smoking, telling him that in the outside world, the only people who smoke are old men who can't get with the times. Upon reflecting, she realizes that she was being really mean and feels bad. So, she and Reimu devise a plan for Sumireko to apologize. Throw a super expensive party, invite Rinanosuke, and have some fun. Sumireko ends up spending her entire allowance, and that's when it's revealed that she was secretly being influenced by Jun. As Jun says, "I'm haunting you. Everyone around me thinks they'll always be happier by spending money." The lesson here? Extreme spending won't buy you happiness. If you saw the title of this video, then I think you know where I'm getting at. As a series, Semito's principles seem organized in such a way that having a gacha game seems contradictory. If spending a lot of money won't really make you happy, then why spend money on a gacha game? And if the series demeans this type of behavior, then why make an entire game based around exploiting that behavior? Questions like these are why a lot of international Touhou fans don't support the idea of Touhou and gacha combined to any capacity. To be honest, I can't really think of a good counter-argument against that. While those points were not enough to personally stop me from playing games like Touhou Lost Word, I think it is a totally fair justification to never even touch a Touhou gacha. In that way, the Touhou gacha paradox is pretty simple. Gacha games send the Touhou universe inherently go against some of the messages found in said universe. But that begs the question, do the Touhou gacha games themselves try to mitigate this paradox in any way? At the moment, there are currently two big Touhou gacha games, Touhou Danmaku Kagura and Touhou Lost Word. While I don't actively play Kagura anymore, I've still played enough to get a gist of how the game works. For those who don't know, Touhou Danmaku Kagura is a rhythm game. Kagura's gacha is based around gameplay cards and score rather than characters. Yes, you can still pull for artwork of characters, but if there's a specific character you like and want, you can just buy them with easy-to-gain currency. These characters can then be used for minor boosting gameplay and to be shown in your home. In addition, the stamina system attached to Kagura is somewhat optional. If you want to score high points and gather materials, then you'll probably have to spend stamina. But if you want to simply experience the songs and the levels attached to them, you can do that free of charge. Kagura is still far from perfect. I've heard that grinding for event points takes a ridiculously long amount of time, but it is at least trying to be more accessible than other gachas. But now, Touhou Lost Word Global. Touhou Lost Word gives out a lot. If you want to do a tenfold summon, chances are that even if you have nothing, you could have enough currency to do that in 4 days max. Combining a super generous currency rollout with some good login bonuses, a fairly low spark ceiling, and some previously great deals on monetized packs, Lost Word Global, like Kagura, tries to be more generous than other gacha games. But now the elephant in the room. The Lost Word drama. There's been a lot happening with Global recently. We've had units from JP be rushed into Global, a ton of limited banners coming back to back off of each other, and the reduction of seal crystals gained from events. We're getting a unit who isn't even 2 weeks old on the Japan side yet, which is really bad for power creep and for people trying to save currency. This is obviously bad for players, with people voicing their complaints to the dev team, but nothing's really been done to address these issues. Some people are speculating that the end of service is near, which I think might actually be true. All the above changes are likely trying to compensate for missed revenue. Personal feelings over the game aside, I think Lost Word's desperation can teach us something. Lost Word Global started out as generous as it was because if it wasn't, a lot of Touhou fans wouldn't be playing the game. The generosity was trying to mitigate the aforementioned Touhou gacha paradox. And this paradox is why Lost Word is likely failing. You can't really do a Touhou gacha game and expect it to work. When one of the actual quotes from Touhou predicting the future of Earth is, "The birth rates of all countries have fallen, though this just means that capitalism has entered its final step, population controlling, yes, that's an actual quote, it's for magical astronomy, then you've got a lot to do to try to convince some fans to play your game. Gacha inherently thrives on people spending excessive amounts of money, but for Touhou, a game solely driven by this desire for revenue goes against the series' principles. If you're too generous, then your gacha game will fail. On the flip side, if you lean too much into trying to lure players into purchasing things with real money, you're going against some of the core ideologies Touhou is built upon. From Cannonball to Lost Word to maybe even Kagura, I hope companies can learn something. Gacha isn't going to work for Touhou. There's too much going against it for it to ever work unless something crazy is done. As for what should be done by Touhou mobile games instead, I honestly don't know. Gacha happens a lot today because of the potential revenue it can generate. If Touhou can't generate revenue from Gacha, can it do it anywhere else in the mobile market? I'm not here to offer a solution, but I do hope that one day, a developer will find one, and make a successful Touhou mobile game that can sustain itself and be true to the series.